one weekend, egg prices. It's Trump's fault. Okay, let's jump into the politics. First thing I wanted to talk about is sort of the reaction you see from so many people on the left. I think they don't understand, like the Democrats, whether it be the streamers, the people on X, the media people, or the politicians themselves. I don't think they know how to react right now. They're so used to having narrative control and using the same playbook that they don't know what to do if it's not effective. Like, how long have people on the left just said, you're racist? And they expect everyone to go, no, I'm not racist. Oh my goodness, no, I'm so sorry. What do I have to say? I'm sorry. You're a transphobe. Oh, no. Now it's just not working. The wells ran dry. People see that they were disingenuous with those complaints, just like they saw with the Trump said Nazis are good people. Now they're doing the, oh, trust us, bro, Elon did a Nazi salute. No, look, people just are tired of it. They're tired of it. And so that's part of what's going on. You know, I think that the egg price thing, I've seen people like Pisco and certainly many other. The memo went out. This is where to focus. Egg prices are slightly up since, the 2 weeks that Trump's been in office. And there's a litany of possible reasons why that'd be the case. Almost none of them would have to do with Trump's direct actions at this point. Those prices were trending up before Trump came in. Is it possible that tariffs, kicking out illegals, etc. like that could raise the price of eggs? Yeah, it could happen. A year from now, if prices of eggs are still up, can you point to Trump's policies and say maybe that's some of the things that led to that? Maybe. But 2 weeks in, it gives away the game. The game is this. One, they don't care about egg prices. They never did. They don't care about grocery prices. They lied to you for 4 years and said, it's transitory, it's not a big deal, the economy's great. When people were paying exorbitant amounts for rents, for car purchases, home purchases, groceries. They didn't care. They buried it. And then as soon as Trump comes in, they're like, oh, egg prices. They don't care. And when you see them, the way they're going on about it, particularly like I see people like Pisco, that's like memeing his way through, oh, it's extraordinary how much eggs went up. This administration's a shell of the former one. Yuck, yuck. Get it? That's because they have contempt for the fact that they felt that their party deserved to win because they feel that they're morally superior. They hate the fact that Americans said, hey, this Democratic administration isn't working for us. We're struggling financially. They lied to you. They kept saying, no, the Biden administration, no, it's a great economy. It's great. One of the best economies ever. How many times in the past 4 years under the Biden administration did I say, I don't understand Biden's strategy here. I don't understand it. Why aren't they saying, yeah, the economy's real tough, but it's not our fault, it's Trump's? Instead, they're like, inflation's transitory. It's okay. Actually, it's a great economy. How many times did you hear me say on my show? I was like, imagine being a Biden supporter who's struggling to financially get by. And you're like, oh, I wonder what the guy I voted for, what his plans are to help. And so you tune in to him and the Democratic Party and their media apparatus, and they're all like, yeah, the economy's great. What's the implicit message there? Well, then it must be your problem if you're struggling, because the economy's fantastic. Of course, once the internal polling showed in election season that things weren't looking that rosy for them, of course they tried to virtue signal to caring about the economy, but too little too late. We're seeing double-digit year-over-year inflation, or near it. People couldn't afford that. And not only was there no help coming, they tried to gaslight you and tell you it wasn't a big problem. So they're pissed. The Democrats are pissed. How dare Americans notice that? How dare they complain? We gave them enough table scraps. Don't they realize how morally righteous the Democrats are? They're the party of joy. And now they're pissed off because Americans were concerned about their border, their economy. So what are they going to do? They're going to be facetious. Oh, it's one weekend, egg prices. It's Trump's fault. Because they know that they ignored it all under Biden, just like they ignored his cognitive decline. Now let me steelman one of their arguments just to show you as best as possible what they're arguing. But isn't it true? Isn't it true that Trump said that prices would come down day one? Yes, Trump is a used car salesman. It's baked into the cake. Joe Biden said he wouldn't shut down the country, he would shut down the virus. Was that true? There are lies like saying, if you like your doctor, you can keep it, like Obama, which is just a blatant lie. And then there are Optimistic messages that presidents make. If you elect me, the country will start doing better day one. Yes, pretty much every president says some form of that. And almost every time it's way too optimistic to what could actually be done. Did I expect grocery prices to go down day one with Trump in office? No. Were there people that honestly expected that to be the case? I assume there were 5 or 10 people in this country that maybe thought that, but almost everyone knew what the argument was going to be. In addition to that, go ahead and clip it. I've mentioned this before, but go ahead, Democrats, clip this. The truth is, egg prices probably won't go down. What I mean by that is, I don't think you're going to see deflation. I don't think that you're going to see inflation go below zero to get back to prices that we had in 2019. Instead, when we're talking about lowering prices, what we're wanting is for people's real wage growth and their real earnings to outpace inflation. That's what we're asking for. So, for example, under the Biden administration, there was almost zero real wage growth. Even though they could say, look, on average, people were making more money. Right, because of inflation, though, which acted as a tax predominantly or disproportionately on the poor and working class, Americans didn't feel like it. You may have got a $1 raise over the 4 years of Biden or a $2 raise, but that wasn't enough to dig you out of the hole that inflation would put you in. That's what people are looking for. And the Democrats understand this. The fact that they are out there saying, oh, but egg prices one weekend, that proves Trump, blah, blah, blah. Ha ha. One, proves that they hate people that were concerned about grocery prices. And so they're being intentionally obtuse. And second, it shows that they're willing to lie. So if there is policies that come that actually you could point to Trump and you could say, like let's say another virus hits and Trump and the Republicans lock us down again. That's going to cause supply chain issues, and it will cause a massive devastating effect on our economy. But who's going to believe the Democrats? All they do is lie. Why would anyone believe them when they talk about Elon Musk, when they spread the Nazis are good people hoax? That's the central hoax that Joe Biden said was the reason that he ran. Democrats foamed at the mouth because a stand-up comedian named Tony Hinchcliffe told a joke and said that Puerto Rico is garbage going as a campaign event for Republicans, and they acted like it was the most serious thing in the world. Oh my goodness, it's outrageous. Puerto Ricans, vote for us. This is what Republicans think of you. The American people see through the bullshit. How many times can you cry wolf? So let them meme about eggs and shit like that. No problem. They need something. They have nothing else to talk about. ICE raids are beginning. They look good. Listen, I know there are people that are staunchly won't be happy until all 30 million illegals are kicked out of the country. That I understand. I'm not of that belief. I'm of the belief that if you start getting rid of the worst, then eventually what will happen will be other people that are here illegally, particularly the worst of the worst, will self-deport. And then you may not end up having to deport all 30 million. We'll see. It needs to be millions. It certainly does. But I think this is a good step. And I think the publicizing of it is a good step. Yes, it is true that Obama deported people, which is another point to see the hypocrisy of the left. I don't remember any celebrities with tears screaming and gnashing their teeth when Obama was deporting criminal illegals. But the fact that it's being publicized and you see Tom Homan on the street is great. One of the big reasons when they asked a lot of these illegals that were coming to the border under the Biden administration, why did you come now? They said, because Joe Biden, because the Democrats. They signaled that we'll be allowed in. They said we'll get a bunch of free stuff and it won't be a criminal thing. And so reversing that signal goes a long way to stopping the influx of people at the border and convincing illegals that are here to self-deport. Make them live in fear if they're illegal. Could be tomorrow. Could be. Better to go home without being forced. How about that? I understand that it'll be painful to see individual situations. I'll speak to that for a minute. When people's goodwill is taken advantage of for decade after decade, inevitably, the resolution will be painful. I'm not advocating for the torture of people. I'm not even saying that I don't feel bad for certain illegals. But there's nothing that could be done at this point. Because Democrats and establishment Republicans sold out the American people and encouraged these de facto open borders for so long, Now there is no choice but to deal with it swiftly and harshly if we want to have a country for the American citizens. Lord of the Nerds, thanks for $2. What happened with all the bipartisan border support? Right. It's almost like they didn't really want a border security. They knew that the bill that they were pushing was garbage and would have hamstrung future administrations having to adhere to it. Remember, one of the biggest arguments against the border bill, go back and look at Springfield, Ohio, and all the Haitians that were put there. What was the argument that your Democrats make? But those aren't illegals, they're legal. So it's outrageous to suggest they should have to go home. That's exactly what the border bill would have done. $5,000 a day, but Republicans signed it. Those are legal. So you don't get to treat them like illegals. It's exactly what the argument would have been. So kudos to Trump's team for doing that. I assume that it hasn't been released publicly yet, but I do like the fact that Trump's signed an executive order to release like the JFK, the MLK files, etc. Think about this from a perspective of just a Joe Schmo like me, though. Let's say that I believe that our institutions like the CIA and the FBI are incredibly corrupt. Do you think they leave a paper trail of everything? Now, clearly, there's a lot of breadcrumbs that you could look into and piece together and show that there's wrongdoing, nefariousness, incompetence, etc. But like if the CIA assassinated JFK, you think they put that in a filing cabinet somewhere? Yeah, we'll release this 20, 40 years from now. So I don't know how much you'll see in these files, how much will be unredacted, but it's a good step. And they ought to release stuff completely unredacted, particularly stuff like that and stuff that's more contemporary, like the spying and the lawfare against Trump. Now you see a bunch of, like, I saw Jake Tapper interviewing Stephen Miller earlier. And like, I'm so tired of all of these things that we just all know to be true. And Democrats playing what are you talking about? What do you mean men have a biological advantage in most sports against women? Huh? Well, what's the proof of that? Can I see a source? Here was one I saw. Stephen Miller was talking about how all these executive agencies, people that work like at USAID, people that work for the State Department, the IRS, how they're overwhelmingly Democrat. And Jake Tapper's like, I don't see proof of that. And he's like, for example, USAID, 95% of the employees there donated to Democrats or Kamala. Wow, that's demonizing. Bullshit, Jake. Bullshit. You can say, so what? That's not a big deal. But I'm sorry. The idea, like, no, that's not the case. It's outrageous. You think career Washington employees are let me hear this, Democrat? That sounds, no, that doesn't sound, I don't see any evidence of that. Fuck you. They engage in this corruption over and over. They're okay with it. And then when you start calling it out, they're like, whoa. And that's sort of what you see. All of the lawfare against Trump didn't have a problem with. Now trying to fight back against that lawfare. Oh, that's political. All the DEI stuff, that wasn't politics. That wasn't political. But rescinding the DEI stuff, that's political. Then did you see one of the media hoax stories that came out? So DEI, executive order's been sent, which is great, to end DEI and all these executive agencies. And the Air Force came out and was like, we can no longer teach about the Tuskegee Airmen. This is something that happens all the time. It's all these book banning stories that you heard. Like a governor will come out or a state legislator will come out and be like, you can't have porn in elementary schools. And they'll be like, oh, I guess we can't have the Grapes of Wrath. They said no Grapes of Wrath. Can't have To Kill a Mockingbird. No Romeo and Juliet. That's what the evil Republicans said. No, you shitheads. What happens is you try to say something reasonable like that and pass legislation. Then the people that wanted the porn, they were cool with it. They wanted genderqueer and all of those books in with third graders. One of the ways they protest is by getting rid of books that no one ever suggested so that they can have a media story. See? Look what they did. Same thing here. We don't want you having DEI programs that are focused on race. Also, we can't talk about the Tuskegee Airmen? No one said that. That's what they said. No Tuskegee Airmen. Fuck them. And it's going to be like that. You wonder why they're clearing out all of these people? Great.